Mark from NVIDIA Australia and New Zealand. So we're here at the DGX-1 launch.
DGX.
We'll get our tongue around the one. So Tesla was a good one. So Mark, tell us, what's the role of yourself and what's the role of NVIDIA in Australia and New Zealand?
Okay, so my role is country manager for Australia and New Zealand. So I started off pretty much the NVIDIA Australia about 5 years ago, and I was running both GeForce business and which is the consumer business and our enterprise business. And it got to the point about 3 years ago where it was just too much, and we hired a GeForce business manager to look after the GeForce business, and that's now got 3 people running it on that side, the consumer side, and I've been focusing on the enterprise business.
So our audience is mostly, power users and enthusiasts, but for those who are not in that category, what's the purpose of having a NVIDIA office in this country? Because I think people, maybe if they know the NVIDIA brand, they'll recognize it as a global company, as an American company. So what's the role? What do you do here in Australia?
Okay, so in the enterprise space, I guess people know us from the GeForce and the gaming, which all the kids are into. But what a lot of people don't know is that we're in the enterprise space as well. Starting with workstations, we have a card called the Quadro card, which is all about rendering and CGI. So, for example, Weta and a lot of the big animation companies all use Quadro to do their rendering and to come up with films or photorealistic.
So, pictures. Your role as in the local NVIDIA branch, so you would look after Weta and you would look after Animal Logic and those sorts of guys.
Well, they're our customers.
Yep.
We don't necessarily look after the customers ourselves. All our sales are done through resellers. So the enterprise products can all be bought through HP.
Okay, so you have basically a channel set up, and there's a certain.
It's more than a channel. It's actually OEMs. So the products are actually OEMs. So when you buy an HP workstation, it's actually got the NVIDIA card already in it, or a Dell workstation, or Lenovo.
Yeah. And they provide the support for those workstations. And where do you guys fit into the equation? So big customers, and you would assist them directly and so on.
Yeah. So really, our job is twofold. One is to enable all the OEMs.
Okay. So what does enable mean? Training, marketing.
Yes.
Here's a new card. This is what you need to know about it from a local point of view, and so on.
So it's all about making sure that they're all up to speed. They've got all the collateral. They understand where it fits, can answer all the questions, and go out there and sell it. So they're fully equipped. On the other side, with tier 1 named customers,
big bosses.
We work directly with them, and a good example was today Monash University. They have pretty much one of all our products.
Okay.
In-house, and they're one of our number 1 customers in Australia. We work directly with them, but they still have to buy from HP or Dell. So we work with them by giving them pre-release hardware for them to test, so they can come back and give us feedback. They're always at the cutting edge of technology, and we help them to make the...
So I guess we can sum this up in terms of what you're just mentioning, that I think the GPU is becoming so much important. You said you mentioned 3 years and 5 years, that GPU is becoming so important, not only for my space as enthusiast power user, business user, but from professional point of view. Now Australia is starting to get relevant. They're starting to catch on to GPU computing, and that's why you guys are here now, is it? That's pretty much the point.
Well, I can tell you in the last 5 years, we've come a long way. I could probably say there's probably not a tier 1 university or tier 2 university that's not running GPUs of some sort.
And so what time frame looking? For example, I'm a bit while out of university, like maybe you are, I don't know. But when I was still there, GPU computing was just not. GeForce was available, but no one thought of that. There was like what you're talking about in our presentation earlier, Back to the Future, and you were going through the different time periods of computing. So what time period are we looking at? So you're saying everyone's using GPU computing now?
So in the last 5 years.
5 years.
So from 2010 onwards, within university and research, the uptake has been exponential to the point where there's probably not a university not using it for research. On the other side, on the business side, there's probably not an engineer or architect using Quadro.
Yep.
Because you just can't do that sort of rendering on CPU.
Oh yeah. Every workstation has, whether it's yours or the competitor's card. So yeah. So when you're saying research and development from university, is that from a computing point of view or science point of view? Because today we had a robotics presentation.
Yeah, so it's
medical. So is in Australia, it's everything, is it, or mainly
it's
computing?
Everything. It's from medicine and biomed, physics, mathematics, chemistry, engineering, right across.
And you guys
robotics.
have certain examples or case studies so for specific for Australia. So what's hot in GPU computing in Australia?
Well, at the moment, for example, in the field of astronomy, we've got Swinburne University and the Causey Centre, Supercomputing Centre in WA, which are part of the Square Kilometre Array, which is a worldwide
Heard of that one, yep.
They're all running GPUs in their systems.
And that's all here? That's all here, locally?
In Australia, in Perth and Melbourne. Some of in Monash, for example, are running the synchrotron, the Australian synchrotron, which is an image capture, super high-res image capture machine. It's fed through the Monash supercomputer to then analyse the image, and then they've also got a thing called the Cave. Cave 2 is a proprietary system for a full 3D, 360-degree visualisation. So that gives you an example of workflow where you're using GPUs along not just in one specific thing. But
So it's fair, these days, most people in IT are familiar with the top 500 list. You guys have Titan, we've got Tiani, and we've got all these different things. I mean, Titan has been very, well known from a brand point of view. So where's Australia fit into that? We have some supercomputers on the list. Are we going to get better? Do you see the future? Because you might have a different view to my audience, and you might know things we don't know, and so on.
So previously, CSIRO had been in the top 500.
And that was with Kepler. I think they started with Kepler.
Yes, they started. They started with actually the Fermi.
Oh, okay.
Previous generation, about 8 years ago.
Well, that shows how they've got a bit further up to go to improve the currency to people like me to know what they're running. So
And they were, I think, the fastest supercomputer in Australia. I can't remember their ranking.
Yes, it will change us.
It moves so fast. But more importantly is that CSIRO was number 7 globally in the top green.
That rings a bell now. Yes.
Yeah. So.
And how can you recall what generation GPUs those were?
Yes, they're running K20s.
And that's with the position 7. Kepler got them position 7.
So they were able to adopt the K20 as soon as they were released, so it was very early.
So now we have Maxwell K40 and so on.
Yeah, we've got K80 and we've got now the M60. Which is used for grid, and obviously DGX is the next generation of the Pascal.
Yeah, we're getting so. I think before we jump to Pascal, how's Maxwell? I mean, are we going to get supercomputers in Australia using Maxwell? Or?
Oh, absolutely. Yes, in fact. Adelaide Uni have just purchased some M40s specifically for deep learning.
Okay.
So we're starting to see that.
All right, now, so we're here today to talk about DGX-1. Hopefully this time we got it right. So, what's the role of DGX-1 in Australia? So you're here today at an event, hopefully, obviously, to get some customers and to promote the knowledge and all this. So, what's your goal? I mean, obviously, you want to get some customers and people learning. So
DGX is a complete box with a complete software stack, specifically built for deep learning and big data analytics. And interestingly, that's not necessarily the domain of the universities, because even though they're doing complex analysis, they don't necessarily have a lot of data. Where the big data lies is in the commercial organisations like the telcos and finance companies.
Google.
And Google is a great example of where we've been working with them for the last couple of years. So moving forward, what we're seeing here in Australia is that some of the big companies, commercial companies and telcos, are actually setting up separate departments called data science departments.
Okay, yeah.
And those departments are headed by the chief data scientist.
Okay.
And what they're looking at is they've realised they have these exabytes of data, but they don't know what to do with it.
So I'm interpreting this. So traditionally clusters using whether Kepler, Fermi, they have many thousands of nodes. Traditionally, this is the realm of the universities. But with DGX-1, I think the point is you're trying to bring a turnkey solution to people who not really necessarily have the capability or the knowledge to build such a cluster. They want something they can put in there, whether it's on-premise data center or whether it's colo, and they can get similar. So basically, you're not really interested in pushing that to research because research is already doing it, isn't that right?
Well, we're still pushing it to research, obviously. That's still our.
But that's not gonna. It's not gonna replace thousands of nodes, is it? It's just like a entry-level supercomputer.
Well, it's an entry-level supercomputer aimed at DL at this stage.
Yes.
So the universities are also exploring DL, which we saw today with the robotics from Monash University. But more importantly is that the big commercial organisations understand that they can't use their everyday computer to do data analytics, because otherwise those people that are hitting the enter button, the
lag.
So they need a separate computer, and a CPU on the computer is just not going to cut it. They need a GPU optimized computer to start analysing that big data.
Yeah. So it's been 2 months now since GTC. How has been the response from, as you mentioned, data scientists who have been paying attention to this scheme? They would have saw the GTC cast where this was introduced, and now that culminates to today. How's the interest been from Australia in terms of
the interest has been far exceeded what our expectations by probably a factor of 10.
But has that interest accumulated in orders?
Yes, absolutely, and we're far ahead of any predicted forecast orders that we thought we would get. So the interest has come from both university research and commercial.
When maybe I'm not sure whether this will be more applicable here or overseas. When will be the first to see from we're reading on different websites? When will be the first to see these boxes deployed?
First delivery we should have by the end of July.
Okay, and that's when you're referring to that globally, or Australia, globally or Australia?
Globally and Australia. So Australia is up there with the rest of the world.
Oh, okay. So basically, first in.
Absolutely. Orders, not intentions. That's what we want, and that's what we've got in Australia. So at the moment, Australia is probably in the top 4 countries in the world.
Okay, that's interesting. So we're wrapping up now. So is there? I realise you can't talk about it on this price. Do you think there is a space to make a scaled down version?
No, I think there's going to be a scaled up version.
Oh, that's okay. Fair enough.
This is very much entry level.
Yeah, because still for some companies, $130K US, that's a bit of a steep for research,
It's not really.
If you're a bank, fine, but maybe if you're maybe a software development company or small startup, couple guys doing some AI,
It really isn't a lot of money. Not when you compare it to the computing power that you're getting versus the floor space, the heating, cooling, all the rest of it that you have to get.
So anyone interested in this? The price is fairly up there, but there's been some interest from people who understand the technology. Let's talk about Australia specifically. Where can people get one? How much is it in Australian retail price?
The retail price is the same for everyone around the world.
Okay, you don't want playing with that. So
it's a level playing field.
Yep.
It's 129,000 US.
Yep.
No matter
what's the deposit?
So that's I think fairly reasonable.
Okay.
And here in Australia, you can get it. We've got an exclusive distributor for the moment, and that's Xenon Systems based in Melbourne. So
and they will handle everything regarding.
We'll handle everything, including all the support and whatever else.
Yeah. So basically, we don't order it. We can't order it. We don't order it from NVIDIA. We go to the local.
Correct. So even though this is our first box, that has got an NVIDIA branding.
Oh, I don't think it's the first box, but it will keep going. First basket.
Yeah. And with NVIDIA branding, we're still not selling directly. It's still sold through distributors.
Okay. So, as a farewell, where do you see things going? Or was a couple of a couple of pointers? Where do you see things going? Now we have this marvelous box.
Well,
what's the future? Where's the future heading?
I think the future is definitely heading to the big finance and telcos, those companies that have got all the big data, and traditionally non-NVIDIA GPU customers. all of a sudden I think they're going to be buying DGXs, and because they're going to need them for that big data analytics.
Well, Mark, we have our GTX 1080. We're happy with it, and so I got to get out of here and finish the benchmarking. So thank you very much for talking to NitroWare.net.
Thank you.